I spent that winter weekend alone in my cabin-style house on the edge of town, surrounded by trees and silence. The neighborhood wasn't abandoned, but the homes were spread so far apart that days could pass without seeing another person. Heavy snowfall had buried everything under white, muting every sound. The woods behind my house looked darker than usual, deeper somehow, like they were hiding something. I liked the isolation. That was why I moved there. The house itself was warm and inviting, with large windows, stone walls, and a fireplace that made the cold outside feel distant. Late that first night, after watching videos until midnight, I turned off the TV and walked down the hallway to my bedroom. Floor-to-ceiling windows lined the wall, facing the woods. Normally, seeing my reflection startled me. That night, I heard a sharp cracking sound outside. It didn't sound like an animal. It sounded deliberate. A few seconds later, it happened again. I sat up, staring into the darkness beyond the glass. With the lights off, I could see clearly outside. After 30 seconds, a shadow shifted between two trees. Not a shape, not a figure, just movement. Everything went still. My heart raced as I waited, convincing myself it was nothing. Eventually, I locked the sliding door and lay back down, barely sleeping. Every few moments, I checked the window, expecting something to be there. Nothing was. By morning, the fear lingered. The house felt watched. Every window felt like an eye staring back. When night came again and snow began falling, I told myself no one would be out there in the cold. I tried to believe it, but the feeling never left. The second night, I sat in the living room wrapped in a blanket, the fireplace glowing and the television lighting the space. Around 10, I stood up to grab a drink and noticed something unsettling. The small den at the end of the hallway was dark. I always left that light on. I walked over and flipped the switch, brushing it off. A minute later, back on the couch, I glanced over my shoulder without thinking. The light was off again. My stomach dropped. I walked halfway down the hall and stared at the switch. It had been physically flipped down. Someone was inside my house. Panic set in fast and sharp. My phone was in my bedroom. My keys were by the front door. I moved slowly, choosing the bedroom first. As I grabbed my phone, movement caught my eye through the glass. Footprints in the snow led straight to the window. A tall figure stood just feet away, hidden by darkness, staring directly at me. I ran. As I reached the front door, I heard more footsteps, more than one. I grabbed my keys, burst outside, and sprinted to my car. As I started the engine, the same figure ran around the house toward me. I sped off into the night. Police arrived 30 minutes later. The house was destroyed. Windows shattered. Furniture overturned. Walls damaged. It looked like a violent search. I told them I'd heard two people and seen one outside, but no one was found. I stayed in a hotel for weeks after. I sold the house. Even now, I dream of that hallway, the light turning off, and something waiting just out of sight. My name is Noah, and before that cabin, I lived alone in a massive house I once shared plans for. After my wife and I separated, I stayed. The house was far too large, filled with empty rooms I rarely entered. Silence became normal. Loneliness followed. 2 years later, I adopted a beagle puppy named Piper. The moment she entered the house, she changed. She went from energetic to fearful. She stuck close to me, trembling at unseen things. The next day while I worked upstairs, she suddenly ran into the hallway and began barking downstairs. I found her frozen in an empty room, staring at nothing. That night, she stood at the bedroom door, ears raised, watching the darkness beyond. The following evening, she vanished from under my desk. I searched the house, calling her name until I found her again in that same room, terrified. As I turned, I saw someone peeking from the hallway near the stairs. I locked myself inside the room with Piper as footsteps approached the door, slow and confident. After half an hour of silence, I opened it to find the front door wide open. Police later discovered signs someone had been living in the house, hiding during the day and moving at night. Piper had known. She sensed him before I ever did. I sold the house too. Piper came with me. She's never been afraid since. I was 18 when my parents left me alone for a few days. One morning, while making breakfast, My friend texted me asking who the man outside my house was. I looked. No one was there. He insisted the man had been peering into my windows. We brushed it off and spent hours gaming online. That evening, while cooking dinner, I saw a shadow move across the wall. I checked the windows. Nothing. Upstairs, the hallway outside my bedroom felt wrong. Too dark. Too quiet. I turned on every light downstairs to calm myself. Later, when I went back up, the unease grew stronger. The house felt occupied. I barely slept. Every sound felt close. Too close. I kept imagining footsteps, breathing, movement just beyond my sight. Nothing ever appeared, but the fear stayed. Years later, I understand now. The quiet is never empty. Sometimes it's just waiting. These experiences taught me something I can never unlearn. Being alone doesn't mean being safe. Silence doesn't mean emptiness. Whether it was the cabin, the empty house, or my childhood home, the pattern was the same. Someone watching. Someone waiting. I was lucky. I escaped. Others might not have. Even now, I check doors twice. I listen longer than I should. And when the lights are off, I never ignore that feeling anymore. Because sometimes the feeling is the warning.